February 28, 2026. The United Nations and Israel launched massive strikes on Iran. Within hours, global markets react and oil traders panic. Prices surge sharply. But this time, it is not just another Middle East crisis. Within days, Iran retaliates not just with missiles but with geography. By early March, the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most critical arteries of global trade, is effectively shut down. Commercial shipping slows to a halt, and oil jumps from $65 to over $100 a barrel. The world believes it understands the crisis. An oil shock and energy disruption, another familiar story. But beneath the surface of the ocean, quite literally, a far more dangerous crisis is unfolding. Few people realize that the seabed under the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea is packed with thousands of kilometers of fiber optic cables. These cables are not optional infrastructure, they are the internet. Every email, every message, every financial transaction, every cloud server request travels through these thin glass lines lying silently on the ocean floor. And right now, many of them pass directly through an active conflict zone. For countries like India, the risks are immediate and serious. India's digital economy is no longer local. It is deeply interconnected with global data flows moving through the Gulf. From cloud computing to artificial intelligence, a growing share of India's digital backbone depends on data centers in places like the UAE and Saudi Arabia. But those data centers are only as powerful as the cables that connect them. And those cables run straight through the Strait of Hormuz and the Red Sea, two choke points that are now unstable at the same time. This is what makes this moment historically unprecedented. In the past, even during wars, global networks survived because of redundancy. If one cable failed, data would reroute through another. But today, two of the world's most critical data corridors are simultaneously under threat. The Hormuz route is blocked, and in the Red Sea, Houthi attacks loom in solidarity with Iran. The safety net is simply collapsing. The most unsettling part is that the biggest threat to these cables is not necessarily a direct military strike. It is the chaos of war itself. When ships come under missile or drone attacks, they maneuver violently and drop anchors. Those anchors scrape across the seabed and can snap a fiber optic cable in seconds. This has happened before many times, but in a war zone, it becomes far more likely and far harder to manage. Repairing these cables is not simple. Specialized ships must locate the break, pull the cable up from the ocean floor, and physically reconnect it. In peacetime, this takes days, but in live conflict zones, those ships cannot even operate safely. They become easy targets. Iran has already signaled that sending slow-moving repair vessels into the strait would be extremely dangerous. What would normally be a temporary outage could now last weeks or even months. The consequences go far beyond slow internet. Tech giants like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google have invested billions into building data centers across the Gulf. These facilities were meant to power the next wave of artificial intelligence, serving users across Asia, Africa, and Europe. But without these cables, they become isolated. Digital islands with no incoming or outgoing data. AI systems stall, cloud services degrade, and global supply chains that depend on real-time data begin to fracture. Yet, as oil dominates the headlines, this silent crisis remains largely invisible. Governments are scrambling to secure energy supplies. The United States has called for a coalition to secure the Strait of Hormuz, but there is little consensus and no immediate solution. If those cables break, it will not just be a slowdown, it will be a disconnect, not just of devices, but of economies, systems, and the digital world itself.